What's going on, YouTube family? Today we're gonna do a video that covers all the current mods that I have on the car. We're gonna go over what mod I put on there, how much it costs, why I bought that certain mod, and how easy it was to install that mod. But right before we get into it, I'll let you guys know I did dump about $500 into the car before I installed any of these mods. The previous owner really jacked up the car. It was really messed up. So I put $500 into it. New spark plugs, belts, transmission fluid, oil fluid, you name it, I probably changed it on this car. So a complete tune-up on it. But let's jump back into the video now and we'll go over what mods I've done to the car so far. We are going to do this video in the order that I installed them. So that's the order we're going to go in for me showing you each and every one. The first thing I installed was the engine cold air intake. Well, the reason behind that being the first thing within the first week of me buying the car is in the stock one, there's actually a boot that sits right here. And the previous owner, it had ripped and he actually put duct tape around it. So when I was doing the initial spark plug change, you have to take the air intake off. But when I put it back on, I found the rip and I was in limp mode for all the way home. Had to get it home in limp mode. So I was driving like 5-10 miles an hour on the way home. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the easiest, 10 being the hardest to install, I would say this was, if this was pretty much a 2 or 3, it's really easy to install. If you're going for the short ram, cutting it off here, if you're gonna go full cold air intake, I would say it's a 5 or a 6, just because at that point you have to get into taking the wheel off and pulling back the fender to be able to get down here to get this on. But still a relatively easy install that if you've never done anything before, you can still pull this off by yourself really easy. The second thing that I did to the car was I actually Plasti dipped my front grille. As you can see, it's black. The emblem is the only silver part now. The reason I did this is I just don't like chrome. I'm not a big chrome person, but I don't like decals being black. It's just a personal preference for me. So that's the second thing I did. The easiness of it is, again, probably about a 1 or a 2. It's super easy to Plasti dip something. The hardest part is just making sure it's clean before you actually do it. So the prep work is the hard part. The third thing I did to my car was to put window tint on it. Now, some people like window tint, some people don't. So this one's just personal preference. I did it because I hate being looked at in my car. I just like privacy, and I really don't care if the cops pull me over for it. I'll pay the ticket. So that was number 3, window tint. On a scale of 1 to 10, it is super easy. It is a 1. It's just gonna hurt your wallet because you're paying for someone to do it, unless you do it yourself. And I've never done that myself, so I couldn't tell you how hard or easy that is. Next up is the catch can system. Well, I installed this because the G35 consumes oil, which I did not know that the rev up consumes so much oil until after I had already bought the car. So in order to fix that, I bought the catch can, Mishimoto catch can here, Jegs braided steel lines. These are Spectra clamp hoses. So this was, I say, a 5 or 6 to install. If you're a beginner, this might be a little bit difficult. If you're going with the Spectra clamps, these are not the easiest clamps to work with. Also, finding a place to actually install this catch can to fit was not the easiest either. But I installed it because it consumes oil, and I wanted to make sure no more oil was getting into my lower plenum. The next 2 things that were installed were actually installed together. So I'm gonna try and get under the car and show them to you. It is the Eibach sways front and rear, and then also SPL end links for the sways, both the front and the rears. So I'm trying to get down there and show them to you right now, but it's gonna be hard to talk while I'm down there, so I'm just gonna show it to you in the video. All right, so if you can hear me, this is the sway bar right here, the red. So it's gonna be these are the rears, and this is going to be and right there is going to be our end link that connects to the sway bar. So the little black piece right there with the silver ends, those are going to be the end links. And the front is a lot easier to see. It runs just under the engine bay right here. And here is our end link for the front. The reason that I installed the sway bars and end links is because I didn't like how much the car has play. Now I'm gonna do suspension work here pretty soon, changing out the springs and everything, which is gonna help a lot more. But the sway bars were the first step to getting the car corrected on some oversteer that the car had. So we got that corrected. It feels a little bit better now. And I got new end links for it because I heard that under pressure, the old end links were actually snapping under the new pressure of the sway. So the sway bars are adjustable, and when you tighten them, the old end link can actually snap a little easier. So I went ahead and just bought all new end links also, so I didn't have a problem of them snapping in the future. The next mod that I made was installing a new intake system. So I went ahead and bought the HKS high-powered true dual exhaust with the burnt tips. This is not an imitation HKS, this is the actual HKS exhaust. And I try to keep it pretty clean. The reason that I got the HKS exhaust is because I wanted the car to be a little louder. While I like the G35 sound, I did want it to be a little bit louder, to be more annoying and stuff. Whatever, everyone has, it's controversial. But and the HKS, the reason I got that one is because it had the best sound. It kept true to the G35 sound, so it still has that low grumble, but it does get a lot louder than your stock exhaust, and it doesn't have a whiny or pitchy sound to it. So that's why I bought the HKS exhaust. I personally thought it was the best sounding exhaust that you could get for this car, for aftermarket. Next thing I got for the car was the Tool Booth Willie engine splash card, the aluminum one I believe it is. When I bought the car, it didn't even have a splash guard. The previous owner had taken it off for whatever reason. So I didn't like that due to the fact that the oil filter sits at the bottom, and if anything comes up and hit it, it can actually be damaged really easily. So I went with an aftermarket one, and I'm gonna go hit on it right now so you guys can hear. So this is it, guys, underneath here, and you can hear it's pure aluminum, so it holds up to anything. It actually makes your front bumper a little stronger. My front bumper will not move when it hits anything because it fits into OEM holes, so it's a perfect fit to where the old one used to be. So because of that, it makes the bumper stronger also. It protects everything under there a lot better, and this thing should last me the lifetime of the car. I shouldn't ever have to replace anything down there again. So yeah, that's why I got it. It didn't have it on it when I bought the car. It didn't have one, so I went with the aftermarket one instead. All right, the very last thing I've done to my car is I changed the taillights. I went with the diode dynamic aftermarket tailless turn lights. So it just changes your taillight position to a different location. And I did that for personal preference. I saw it on another car and I really liked it, so it's $40. And I loved it. So for $40, I got a mod that I liked. Some people I've talked to actually don't like it, but if you don't like it, then don't put it on your car. This last thing I'm going to show you guys, I don't know if I'd call it a mod, but if you have an iPhone 6S or 7S, or a phone that is equivalent to that size, as you probably know, this is like the perfect spot to put your phone. But in the daytime, your phone sits so far slanted forward that you get the glare from the front windshield. So what I've done to fix that is, it doesn't look pretty, but I have a strip here of, it's felt. So it's a roll of felt. I got it from Lowe's. Put one there, put one here where I wanted it to stop. So when I open it, it doesn't open all the way anymore. And then also a piece of felt on the inside here. And what that does is it actually keeps my phone facing the inside of the car. So in the daytime, I can now put my phone here and it almost looks like it's supposed to be there. And there's no glare from the outside of the car. And you can read your phone perfectly. So there's no huge glare or anything. It's just something that I did. I always put my phone here when I'm driving. And I always had the glare. So I wanted to fix it. So that's the little invention that I came up with. I'm sure there are inventions that are a lot prettier than this, but this works for me. And it was just a roll of felt. I think it was like $6 at Lowe's, and it's self-adhesive, so you just pop it on there and you're good to go. And your phone won't get ruined because it's felt, so it's really soft material too. And when you're done with it, I can actually just peel it off, and there's no residue left behind either if I don't like it anymore in the future. That is gonna do it for today's video. I don't know what the total is off the top of my head. I'll do the numbers and I'll put it down below for the total that I've put into the car so far, just in mods, not included in any of the maintenance stuff that I've done to the car. That's it, guys. If you guys have any questions about any of the mods, on how to install them or anything, I'm gonna put some links in this video for you guys for stuff that I've already done. If you have any other questions, feel free to comment down below. Ask me anything you guys need, anything at all, guys. I'm always here to help. And that's it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. In yesterday's video, I completely forgot to mention the future plans that we have for the car and for the page. So we have car meets coming up that I'm gonna be putting out on Snapchat. So if you're not on my Snapchat yet, add my Snapchat. On the next screen is my Snapchat name. Add me on Snapchat. I'll be introducing all the car meets, the times, the location, everything on there. So if you're local, you can come out to those. We also have all new suspension parts coming, so we're changing the entire suspension of the car, of the G35. That's going to be in about a month or two, and we also have stickers coming out around the 1,000 subscriber mark. I'm in the works already designing stickers for the page, and I'll be putting some on my car. And at local meets, if you're local, you'll be able to see them before anyone else, before I introduce them to the actual page. So that's the future plans that we have as of right now, along with other small videos coming out in between all the big stuff. Thanks guys again for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.